is Aftonbladet, with insights from their AI hub, which blends editorial and technical staff for rapid testing and implementation of AI-powered tools in the newsroom. Please welcome Assistant Editor-in-Chief and Deputy Responsible Publisher at Aftonbladet, and a member of Aftonbladet AI Hub, Martin Schori, and journalist and a member of Aftonbladet's AI Hub, Elin Wieslander.
Thank you very much, and great being here, seeing all these familiar faces. We have shown these slides at least 50 times, I think, for different audiences, and usually it's people who don't know that much about AI, and now we're here and a little bit nervous, right?
Yes.
Because it's different. David Caswell, you've seen this maybe 3 times, but this is the first time you'll actually understand the language, I think. Yeah. All right. Anyway, Aftonbladet has been working with AI for a couple of years, especially with the personalization that Nick was mentioning as well. But when this AI boom started a little over a year ago, we wanted to see how we could use this new technology. The first thing we did, was in collaboration, heavily inspired by our colleagues at VG, were these AI-generated article summaries that are in our articles. They are built into our CMS, so a reporter writes an article and pushes a button, and OpenAI's technique will summarize the article. This turned out to be a very successful service. The audience liked it a lot. You have to expand it in order to see the whole summarization. And around 43% of everybody who saw this summarization will expand it. And it's even higher among younger people. We made them a little bit tighter now. They were a bit long in the beginning. You can see the whole prompt there. And there's also a few learnings from this project. The first one is that it has to be monitored closely. It's not our technique. And in the beginning, these summaries were really good. But after maybe a month or two, they're starting having like weird capital letters in weird places. They became very long. And we asked our product team, have you done anything? And they said no. So it was probably something that happened at OpenAI. And then a couple of days later, it was just back to normal again. So important, obviously, to watch this closely. Another thing is that a lot of the reporters were not like super enthusiastic. They have written their articles. They obviously want people to read them. So they said, okay, but why should I even bother when everybody would just read my summary? But as the data shows, the people who extend these summaries will actually read the articles to a great extent, the people who don't. So we could, which it surprised us first, but when we could show this data to the newsroom, it was easier to convince them that it's actually a good thing. Also, maybe a bit more like philosophical, but when AI came, we said that, okay, this is going to make your work a lot more efficient. And obviously it is if you were to do all these summaries manually. This would save time, but we didn't do them before, so this is an extra thing you have to do. So that was also maybe a little bit hard to sell, because it was you have to remember to push this button. Yes, we have also used AI as more of an editorial tool. The first thing we did, I think it was probably back in May or April, was to analyze hundreds of hours of video for an investigation of the Sweden Democrats, a political party in Sweden. They have a propaganda channel on YouTube. So we did that with the help of ChatGPT. We also woke up Gustav Vasa, the first king of Sweden. This was back in the summer when Sweden turned 500 years. And so we allowed our audience to chat with Gustav Vasa and ask him questions like, what's your view on democracy or free press? And yeah, came out pretty good. He did not have that high thoughts of democracy. Yeah, and we also done a little bit more experimental things. This was from Christmas Eve, when we had two of our journalists reviewing our audience's Christmas trees. So they would take a photo of them and send them in to us, and you can have them either, and they will give the reviews with AI-generated voices. We've also done even crazier or maybe cringy things. This was a collaboration with Agnes and her in-lab team, where we AI-generated summaries of our articles and then also AI-generated them into rap songs, which was it was fun, but I mean, and also there is a bigger question here, which is that we can see in all these research that young people, they do like news, but not necessarily the way we present them. So we think that we have to kind of challenge the way we present the news, and maybe this is not the solution, but it was one solution. Okay, so basically all of this stuff except the Christmas tree thing was done before the summer, and so we had started experimenting with AI, and then we thought, okay, now we have to take kind of like the next step. In order to do so, we felt that we had to work a little bit more focused. So me and Moa, who's the product director at Aftonbladet, we pitched an AI hub to our management, which is, as you can see here, 7 people working full-time with just experimenting and finding AI solutions for Aftonbladet, and also educating the rest of the newsroom and the company. The meaning is not that it's only this group of people who's going to work with AI. The whole Aftonbladet is supposed to embrace it. And as they're all here, I think, all of you, yes. So this is the team, and we felt it's important that it's not like a product team, so we wanted a couple of journalists in it. So Emilia, who is usually at Sportbladet, she is now the program or the project manager for Aftonbladet's AI hub. And also you have Elin, obviously, and Patrik and Konrad, who is also editorial. Michaela is UX, and Katarina and Alexander, who are developers, and also Petter from TV. So this is the group working now.
Yeah, so one of the first things that we discussed in the AI Hub, I think it was this autumn, October maybe, was that we found it crucial that we wouldn't be the kind of project that just will be sit in a corner for 3 months and then pop up to the newsroom and say, hey, we have a new tool. And we realized that we had to be a lot out at the newsrooms. And last year when I went to this conference, and I was a bit surprised that many participants talked about journalists as very, that it was a common perception that journalists tend to be very conservative. But me, as a journalist, know that we are also kind of creative, actually. So we decided and realized early on that, of course, we at the AI Hub had a lot of ideas how to use generative AI out on the newsroom, but we thought it was very important to get everyone on board quickly. So we also thought it was crucial to show early on that you don't have to be a tech whiz to experiment with generative AI. And the result was a workshop called How to be a Prompt Queen. You see, the prompt queen, yes. And we also we avoided terms like prompt engineering or prompt crafting and used the term prompt editing instead. And our goal with the workshop was to give journalists easy tips and tricks to make their work easier in their everyday work life, especially focusing on boring tasks like transcribing, translation, and summarizing. And actually, over 260 employees attended, and that is almost all of us at Aftonbladet, which was very fun. And apart from getting tips and tricks, the attendees also learned how to make their own ChatGPT assistants. And yeah, well, many journalists were doubtful at first, but the training actually opened their eyes. And as you can see, one reporter even said that I used to think AI wasn't that inspiring and that I probably wouldn't use it. But after the training, I feel really excited to start experimenting with it more in my work. Yeah, so although we strongly encourage journalists to explore generative AI on their own, we also saw no point in everyone repeatedly start from scratch. So with a lot of help from our friends at VG in Norway, we made the AI Buffet, which is a landing page with a lot of tools for daily journalistic tasks. For instance, we have the Brainstormer, which gives you 5 follow-up ideas for an article. You just paste in a URL for an old article, and it will come up with 5 ideas. Not all of them super good, but yeah. We also have the News of the World feature, which is very useful for us during breaking news stories around the world. So instead of Googling, for example, Osaka or something, you just type in Osaka and you will get the 5 largest news sites in the Osaka area, including one labeled as the most one used, like Aftonbladet. And being out on the different departments and newsrooms, talking with our colleagues, one highly requested tool was an SEO tool. And working with our Google expert at Aftonbladet, Kalle, Katarina from the AI Hub made the Super Optimizer, which is a checklist that not only suggests improved Google titles, but also suggests other ways to improve your article in terms of search engine optimization. Yeah. But creating a top-notch AI tool like the SEO Super Optimizer is both time-consuming and requires development skills. And, well, yeah, us journalists are not really famous for being patient. Hence, we began experimenting more with GPT assistants. And I have no development experience whatsoever, but managed to create the Buddy Reader, which is an assistant that proofreads and gives feedback, all in Aftonbladet style and based on Aftonbladet's own guidelines and writing rules. And you, Martin, neither do you have any development skills, right? You created the Youth Assistant, which is specialized in generating fact boxes, timelines, and Q&As about news events for an 18-year-old audience, all, of course, in Aftonbladet style. And we thought it was also important to early on show our colleagues that even someone like me and Martin could make GPT assistants. So how do these tools and experiments reach our users? Well, there we go. We use AI to write fact boxes, and that saves us a lot of time. It makes us as journalists happy, because it's very boring to write fact boxes. And of course, and most importantly, it gives our readers a better experience. Translation and transcription are other big uses. Here is an example from where we got a photo of a Hungarian letter, and we just put it into ChatGPT, and within some minutes, we shared the story with our readers. And the third area involves AI-generated SEO articles, a task that few journalists find rewarding or enjoyable. So this example includes content on summer and winter tires for vehicles, which is a huge topic in Sweden for like 2 days every April. But we are using AI for more than just writing. We now anonymize individuals using AI-generated voices instead of distorting them. And we are also fixing small errors in podcasts using voice cloning. All in all, these are a few examples from how we in the AI Hub use small adjustments and small improvements to make big improvements and enhance our user experience.
Yes, thank you, Elin. And these are some projects coming up in the near future. We have trained our own AI voice based on Maria Bjaring, who's a journalist at Aftonbladet. And she will present news summaries to our audience in the coming weeks. Also, we are about to launch our first chatbot, and that's going to be on the EU elections. The EU elections are maybe not the most engaging topic for Aftonbladet's audience, but that's probably okay, or even good, because then we can test it and we can scale it and put it on something more engaging in the future, probably. So we're looking forward to that a lot. Just wanted to finish up with a few learnings from creating this AI Hub. It's been quite a ride, a lot of fun, great to work cross-functional, as we always want to do. These guys are the ones at Aftonbladet who knows most about AI. They can educate the rest of the organization and also develop, implement all these tools. And that has been great. I think, though, if we want to take another step to really transform and move our organizations, then we probably have to involve the top management, and they have to drive this because the AI Hub has limits in mandate, for example. So that's something that we are discussing a lot now. Also, I think we have been focused on experimenting and testing, and I can hear now at Aftonbladet and other places, that, okay, now this test phase should be over. Like, now we want clear results. But the technology is probably not there yet, at least not in every case. We can also see that it is, Elin mentioned that journalists are creative, and I totally agree, but it's still, even that when you find services such as the summaries that are obviously something very good, and our audience, they love it. But it's quite a challenge to, you still have to remind them, to remind the newsroom to use it. Yes, that was about it. If you're interested in what we're doing, we have a newsletter on LinkedIn where we almost every 14 days put out the stuff we've been up to lately. You can subscribe to that if you want to. otherwise, thank you, and thanks to Agnes and Kasper and Olle and Sarah and for having this. Thanks for putting us up after an American professor. Please don't do that ever again. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for a great presentation. You have done so many things. I was wondering, the journalists who work at Aftonbladet, what kind of tools have they kind of preferred? What have they loved the most of what you've offered them?
I would say, and please tell if you disagree, Martin, but I would say that definitely those tasks that are pretty boring to do. I mean, most of us journalists don't be journalists because we want to do SEO articles about winter and summer tires. So the time-consuming, more like boring stuff is the ones that they...
But I Google that every year when I have to go to my house in Sweden. So thank you for doing that after all. But then what about this strategy about kind of trying everything out really fast? What are kind of the downsides to that approach, if you would say?
I'm not sure if we've seen that yet. There is a risk maybe that if you're doing everything very fast, obviously the products or the tools you make are not at their best. And if you want to implement them later on, maybe you have to, I don't know, maybe not start from scratch, but at least do a lot of work. But it's, I think it's a bit too early to say that. In this month or the last year, it's been a lot about experimenting and playing around, basically.
And do we have any hands in the audience? Yes, we do. Do you want the honors, Martin, of throwing it down here? It's right there.
Sure. Oh, there we go.
Nice.
Woohoo!
Thank you. As a person who is really jealous for having the AI hub, I should ask, first of all, are all of these people working full-time because they are from different departments, or is this their part-time job? And the second, how did you convince your management and the business side to create such a department? Do you have some KPIs on reporter desirability or something to make it happen?
Yeah, they are working full-time. So that's the first question. The other one is probably just, I think we used the iPhone example. When the iPhone came, Aftonbladet bought iPhones for the whole company and handed them out. And that has been like the story, and like that's why Aftonbladet became so successful online. So we just used that example and said, do you want to miss this iPhone moment? Don't think so.
Thank you for making us even more jealous.
Now everyone will use that argument. Okay, thank you so much, Martin and Elin. Let's give them a hand.
Thank you.